Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So how are you today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Joy Prabhupada.
Hare
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, good to see you. Oh wow, Arjuna has also come. Hare Krishna, Arjuna. And Sutapa Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Yeah, watching us here on Facebook is Shraddha-devi Dasi Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu. Okay, so today is Friday. It's going to be a short class, so we're going to get started as soon as we can, which means that I need to start sharing my screen with you, which is always a challenge in the morning. But let's see how we are doing today. Can you see it? The Vikyapti Pancham.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, fantastic. Today is the good day. So we'll get started with the prayers to the spiritual master and then the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma na parathi cha kasyana parihare pilajjame kim bhuve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvato yatha manobhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai bhumau skalitapadanam bhumirevavalambanam tvai jata paradhanam tvameva sharanam prabhu govinda vallabhe radhe prarthaye tvamaham sada twadiyam iti janatu govindo mam tvaya saha radhe vrindavanadhishe karunamrituvahini kripaya nij padabja dasyam mahyam pradiyata. Okay, Hare Krishna, and welcome to the call. Those who joined us later, including Soni Mataji and Garima Mataji and Khyati Mataji also here. And Khyati, I can see that you're busy working on something, which is good news for me. And also good news.
Krishna Mataji, I was typing. So
Hare Krishna, yes, I know what you were typing. So we have also Sadhana Ellen Mataji joined us on Facebook, and Achyuta Radhe Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I'm sure that on the chat window, we have something that Khyati Mataji has been working on.
So reading order is right now Ishwari Radhika Mataji, Suttappa Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Garima Mataji, then myself, and then Shraddha Mataji. And then if anyone joins, I will add between Garima Mataji and me. So at least for you, Shraddha Mataji, it remains constant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That really helps. Okay. So who goes in next? And can you see the translations?
No, Mataji, we cannot see your screen yet.
You can't see the screen yet? Okay. Which sometimes is good because if you don't see the screen, then I see you. Okay, here we go.
O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone. Hare Krishna.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. Hare Krishna.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. So time for reflections.
No sinner or offender is as bad as I am.
Okay.
And just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Okay, so first thing is to realize and accept the malady. Right? Something is wrong with me. And then try to rectify it. Yeah, that's a good step. Let my mind take pleasure in you alone, also says Bhagavad-gita Dasi Mataji.
Karunamrit Vahini.
Karunamrita Vahini. Very nice. We can all do with some karuna, right?
Always, Mataji.
Always. Yeah, that's a good.
Karuna and courage are the two things that we need the most.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Mano me ramtam tvai.
Mano me ramtam tvai. Wow. Yes. What else?
Consider me assistant at your lotus feet.
At your lotus feet. Yeah.
Hare
Radha
Krishna.
Vrindavanadhi se Kadna Amritvahi. You are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy.
Mercy. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So imagine, like, we are talking about Radharani, who has been bestowed, he's the embodiment of so many amazing virtues. And you're saying that, please give me service at your lotus feet and kindly consider me to be one of your assistants and things like that. So you can imagine, those of you especially who go to work, that what it would mean to have Radharani as your boss. Right? Imagine a high, tall building and the corner office there, and Radharani is sitting there in the office. Right? And everybody's rushing to go and do work. Everybody wants to do work. Everybody's asking for more work. Isn't it a very different situation from what we have at work these days? We just want to throw work at others, right? When I first joined ISKCON, I was very surprised. I was very surprised at the way devotees used to fight with each other over service, a piece of service. And the biggest complaint was, this was my service and that person took my service. And I was like, ooh, this is so different from corporate America, where we want to throw our service, our duty at others. Forget about service. Our duty, we want to throw that at others. So it's amazing dynamic when you are working for the Lord. It's a totally different thing. It's something that comes from your heart and you really want to go and give it your best. Like that. So that is why, you all come at odd hours to participate in Krishna Katha. So.
And Mataji, like in the spiritual, or at least in the ISKCON family, the way we get support and like help is also different than what we get in the corporate world, right? So that also makes like huge difference in your mindset and looking at the other devotees.
Exactly. In corporate, the help comes in the form of Lakshmi, most likely. That also will be very difficult to give because salary structures are fixed, budgets are fixed. You just can't go, and the manager might have only a limited budget and he can help you just a little bit, right? But the devotees actually, the real help is to, move yourself and then help by working. And that is why devotional service is also said that, it is an active thing. You go and really, really work. For example, one of my god sisters, she works in the medical industry. So she has to go to work every time and has a little baby. And so she just asked and said that, hey, and does anybody know a person who can cater to food? Because she's not finding the cycles. So many people in her office have got coronavirus, which includes patients as well as the doctors. And so those who are remaining have to work even more hard. And that is the nature of this material world. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. And so she said that, can somebody suggest? And immediately the other god sisters, they jumped in and they said that, no, don't do that. It's very risky trying to get food from outside. You don't know how many hands it's changing, what's the status in that person's home. He's doing it for business, might not want to declare that they have corona because the money will stop and things like that. So then all of them ganged together and they said that, maybe we will just come and drop some food outside your home. No contact, no talking, but we'll do that. But that means that somebody has to cook, somebody has to drive and then go drop. But that's what they would do. Yeah, so thank you for bringing that point up, Yadi Mataji.
It's always enabling the other devotees, right? And trying to see how we can best support each other, unlike corporate world, where everyone focus on their own progress. So.
Yes. I still remember the first time that I had, when the first few festivals that I had, I was attending at ISKCON. And so Hansapriya Mataji was there. And she had met with a terrible accident and her knee was broken. So she was in plaster, cast and things like that. And it was Gaura Purnima Day and we were going to have an Abhishek. So obviously she's the event director. So she was moving around the temple on crutches and she was in pain. She was fasting. And so I was generally helping around in that area. And so she was standing and she was making a garland of berries, blackberries. So she was making a garland so that the Utsav deities could wear that garland while the Abhishek was happening. And so I was so very corporate-y person, right? So I just said, Bhansebra Mataji, I'll do it for you. You please rest. Don't waste, spend your time in making the garland for the deity. And then she turned around to me and she said, that's my seva. And then it just stuck to me that, like, you know what? You give help, but then, you don't take away, and innocently, you don't take away other people's seva. Because that, what is going on? I mean, like, I'm just looking at it from a corporate perspective that look at this devotee, she's standing on crutches and she has to make this mala and now the time has come for Abhishek and, she's feeling trouble, has to move to go get that, all that line yards, I was thinking. And from her perspective, she's not even feeling that. Actually, she's joyful inside that she's able to do that service to the Lord. Yeah. So service to the Lord is very sweet and is totally different from what we do here in this material world. Yeah.
And like Radharani doesn't take any ownership. It's always Krishna who is doing, but ultimately it's the energy, right, which happens, and that is Radharani. And that is why if someone is so humble, that is why they are able to give mercy, right? So Karunamritvahini. And so as devotees do that, right? They are very humble and give always. So
yes. And so look at this is so interesting that you bring this up, because just yesterday I was talking about this to somebody else about doing seva and expecting credit for that. Right, a lot of time we do seva and then we will go and put it on the Facebook and we expect people to like it and people to thank us and glorify us, and if they didn't glorify us, then it is then we get angry, right? Because the desire was there and the desire did not get fulfilled. And so Vaishnav Prabhu always says that a lot gets done if people don't care who gets the credit. It's a very deep statement. A lot gets done. And to talk about, getting the credit, my brother-in-law, which is my husband's brother, just sent this thing to me yesterday. It was his birthday. And he said that about the credit, and sometimes people get the undue credit also. And she said that from times immemorial, when you take a diya, right, a lamp with a ghee and ghee wick, and he says that from times immemorial, it is the cotton wick and it is the ghee that burn. But we always say, diya jal raha hai, that the lamp is burning, right? So diya, nothing happens to that diya in which you put the things. It's actually the batti and actually the ghee inside it that really burns. And yeah, so sometimes it'll happen, but they don't complain. The ghee still burns and the bhakti still burns, and it has been burning since times immemorial. Yeah. So not wanting to take credit for that, for anything that we do, is a good mood to be in. What else do you think? Well, I had a thought about courage, but I will not go there yet, because I like to bring up the next prayer, which has got to do with courage. And whose turn is it now to read?
Just wanted to say Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam.
Oh, yes. We can't live without saying that. Dasyam Mayam Pradiyam. Okay. So who is there on next?
Varshana Mataji and Deepal Bhabhi joined, so they can read. So revised order I posted.
Awesome. Awesome. So who's next?
And Sonia Mataji, would you be able to read today? I did not include your name since it's a
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can't read. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe Soni Mataji, what you can do is whenever you join, just let us know either ways. Yes, I can read. No, I can't read.
Okay. Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, then she doesn't have to speculate. All right. So who goes in next now?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can you please
Yeah, I
tell
think
me?
it's Varshana Mataji's turn now.
Varshana Mataji's turn? Okay, good. So I need to bring up the right prayer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
so, yeah, wondering
O
what
Purushottama, O sinner or offender, is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in the young men, and the minds of young men take pleasure in the young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone. Hare Krishna.
did we read this already, or did I stop and take it?
Yes, Mataji, we already read.
Read it, yeah,
You
yeah.
have it posted. Yeah, you have it on.
Yeah. I was just
Free.
going to say that, I have the wrong prayers, but Varshana Mataji was in a gusto. Okay, good, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mataji, I'll read this, Mataji.
Yeah.
In fact, and I need practice also. Sakrad eva prapanno yas twasmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadamya etad vratam mama. Hare Krishna.
Synonyms, please. Who's going to do the synonyms?
Synonyms: Sakrit, once only; Iva, certainly; Prapanna, surrendered; Ya, anyone who; Tava, yours; Asmi, I am; Iti, thus; Cha, also; Yachate, praise; Abhayam, fearlessness; Sarvada, always; Tasmai, unto him; Dadami, I give; Etat, this; Vratam, vow; Mama, my.
Translation. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrender unto me, saying, My dear Lord, from this day I am yours, and praise to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on.
Okay, so I just wanted to welcome Vijay Lakshmi Mataji and Jaya Agarwal Mataji is watching us on Facebook, and Sadhana Mataji is looking for a little service at the lotus feet of Radharani. Yes, little service. You already do a lot of service, Mataji, but always ask for more. We have a very short period today to read, so I might be a little bit rushed into it. But nevertheless, I wanted to pause here and let you all know that Vidyavadhu Mataji's brother-in-law, which means her husband's brother, who lives in Pune, has been diagnosed with COVID, and he's in the hospital right now with under oxygen. So we will just do maybe 11 Hare Krishnas for their safety and to give them courage to face whatever they are going through right now.
Yes, Mataji.
All of you together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and speak. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama.
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hari Bol.
Rama
Hare Krishna, dear Lord Krishna, dear Radharani. Please accept the prayers of all the devotees who are here on Zoom, Facebook, and those who will read or listen to this later as well. That please keep Rajesh Singh Prabhu and his family safe in these times of coronavirus, and actually please keep everybody in this planet safe. Rajesh Prabhu has a long way to go in devotional service, so please let him stay in this body to continue his devotional service. And thank you so much for considering our request. Hare Krishna. So we should go now to reading from the Bhagavad-gita, which is a good thing always to do. And my little advice to you today would be that take coronavirus seriously. Sometimes work demands that we have to do and we have to go places. So just be doubly careful. Rajesh Prabhu had to go to work because he was in, I think, had something to do with viruses and things like that. So like Kyati Mataji, you have to go to office every day. He also has to go.
Yeah.
So just be doubly careful, and especially those of us who are out there, like my god sister who's in the medical field and and related fields. We should go and do a special prayer for them because they are doing a fantastic job helping others. So I'm going to start sharing my screen with you momentarily, and we'll just try to finish the things up because I have a call that goes up next, and there I'm trying to see where is my participant list, because I'm just going to put everybody on I'm going to put everybody on waiting mode now. Anybody new who wants to join the call, because I really don't want people from my next meeting to come here accidentally even. Okay, so sharing desktop 2 with you. Who's next in line to read?
Your turn, Mataji.
My turn? Okay. So
And we can see your Facebook page, not
you
the.
can see my Facebook page. Okay, this is just crazy. I'm sharing my desktop. I will show you my Facebook page. Okay, one more time. Sharing desktop number 2, and here. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, Mataji.
All right. So reading from Bhagavad-gita, chapter number 2, which is contents of the Bhagavad-gita summarized, and reading from the first verse. Sanjay said, Arjuna, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusuna Krishna spoke the following words. Text 2, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy.
Text 3. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Text 4. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Hare Krishna.
Text 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything will be tainted with blood. Text 6. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Hare Krishna.
Text 7. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. Text 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven.
Text 9. Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Text 10. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Hare Krishna, text 11. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Text 12. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any one of us cease to be. Hare Krishna.
Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Text 14. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Text 15. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Text 18. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Text 19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not nor is slain. Text 20. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Hare Krishna.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Hare Krishna.
Text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
It is said that the soul is It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Text 6. Somebody next in line can read.
This individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can neither be neither burned.
Varshana Mataji, text 26. Text 26.
Sorry, Mataji.
No problem.
If, however, you think that the soul for the symptom of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. Text 27. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Hare Krishna.
Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Text 30. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on a religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of heavenly planets.
Text 33. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
Text 35. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Text 36. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Hare Krishna.
Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Text 34. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Okay. Right. And so we were doing chapter text 27, which we'll continue to do today and tomorrow. So let's just, read it one more time so that we get more and more familiar with it. So who's coming next in line to read? After Sutapa?
I'm Mataji.
All right, go for it, Priyanka.
Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada haryerthe na tvam shochitamarhasi.
Very good. Who's next in line for the seminar?
Jatasya, of one who has taken his birth. He certainly, dhruva, a fact, mrityu, death, dhruvam, It is also a fact. Janma, birth, mritasya, of the dead. Cha also. Tasmat, therefore. Aparihare, of that which is unavoidable. Arthe, in the matter. Na, do not. Tvam, you. Shochitam, to lament. Arhasi, deserve. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after that one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life. And after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. Hare Krishna.
The battle of Kurukshetra being the will of Supreme was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reaction of sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to the selection of the wrong path of action.
Okay. So, like I said, it's a very short day for us today. Might have to leave in a couple of minutes now. But I wanted to spend some time today, and especially these days, because and talk about a certain topic, and especially these days because we are talking about the soul and the fact that the soul does not die, and the fact that the soul changes bodies as we change our clothes, and the fact that nobody can do anything to the soul, and then the fact that whoever is born is going to die, and once you die, you're going to be born again. So it doesn't mean that we have to take lightly our current body in our current life. And no matter what happens, we have to stick it out in this body. And this coronavirus thing is not, in the beginning, it was very fantastic. The commute was finished, and you didn't have to go out. I mean, of course the fear was there, but there was sort of a relief. People could work from their homes and things like that, and they were enjoying it. And then all these infinite classes came up on Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam, reading sessions and all that, so that gave a nice surge, right, to our devotional service. So all that is good, but things have to sustain over a period of time. And I have increasingly noticed, and people have been coming and talking to me about the spouses not behaving properly, getting angrier. My sweet husband is behaving like this. I don't know what happened to my wife. What's wrong with her? And people have started talking about divorcing. So just, if you have friends who are going through these phases, just, give them a supporting hand and let them know that these are not easy times for anybody. Although we might say that we are enjoying the corona thing, we are not enjoying it. We are social animals. We don't like to be confined in the homes. And so at least once a day, or at least once a week, somebody comes and says, we want to me, or I come to hear about that they want to commit suicide or have attempted to commit suicide. And so don't get carried away by these statements that the soul lives forever, so it's fine, I can commit suicide. And why would one want to commit suicide? And that is because they cannot handle what they are being doled out in this life. But suicide is not a solution for that. We have to understand that whoever we are living with, whoever we are married to, whoever is our parent, whoever is our child, if we are getting grief from them, it is our karma that is coming back at us. So finishing off your life and thinking I'm going to start over anew is not going to happen. It is your karma is going to find you. And they say that, you are like a cow and your karma is like a calf. So amongst millions of cows which are there, a calf can go and run and go and find the mother among the millions. Similarly, your karma can also go and find you anywhere that you might try to hide, right? Inside your homes, in a different body. So don't even attempt to do that, because that's completely not recommended from the scriptures, by the scriptures at all. You have no right to take your body. It's a gift given to you by Krishna. There's Krishna's plans. Don't mess with Krishna's plans. And also, you are a devotee. You are the one who's reading all these things about life and about devotional service, about activity of devotional service, about mercy, Radharani being merciful. So it's also our time to be merciful. And don't take things too literally. People are getting their heads blown off and the brains are all fried with the intense pressure. Companies are asking you to do more work, and excruciating timelines. And maybe we didn't get along well with the spouse and now we have to face them 24/7. But it's a time for us to flex our toleration muscles and also to show mercy. And spouses might say something to you out of anger. Just ignore, right? Just ignore it and just give a supporting hand, and never ever think of any extremes of things that let me just end my life. Who knows? You end your life and then what's going to happen? You're going to be born again as a baby, and a baby is more susceptible to coronavirus. There you go. So there's no guarantee of where, in which planet you're going to be born, which body you're going to get, and staying in a womb itself is a difficult thing to do. So make use of this body and try to get out of the cycle of birth and death in this lifetime itself. So with that mood, spend the day today, be thoughtful, and we'll meet again in the evening. Now, I don't know, I might have to push the evening meeting out to a later time because an important meeting has come up and we are still trying to juggle to make sure everybody required can get into that meeting. And I need to adjust my schedule. So so please be watchful. Please watch out for a WhatsApp message from me coming on our WhatsApp group. And so I won't make it sooner. I won't make the meeting happen sooner. Our Srimad Bhagavatam class happens sooner. So Varshana Mataji, you don't have to stay awake the whole night waiting for my WhatsApp message. If at all anything, it'll be later in the day there. Okay. So with that said, think about life as a gift from the Lord and live and ask for courage. That's what we ask. And this is the time that we ask courage from Krishna to handle whatever is in his plans like that for us. Okay. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gopremanande hari
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Okay.
Hari Bol.
Yes. I'm going to end this conference.